So if there's one thing in this life that I'll never ever have regrets for, that's the fact that I will put myself first always. And this pertains to a lot of things in life. And there are other times where I am selfless, but I am an overall selfish person. But today I'm going to talk about work specifically because I'm at a bit of a crossroads right now when it comes to what I'm doing and where I'm going. So I've been at my current job for about 7 months now, 7.5-ish months, something like that. And in that time frame, I did some dumb things that, are completely my fault. I got myself put on my final warning where basically one more strike and I'm out. And it's all tailored around attendance. It's nothing to do with the job itself or job performance or anything like that, or making enemies at work or anything like that. In fact, it seems like most people seem to like me there. I don't really care either way because that's not the aim that I'm going for. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because in the 8 months, actually it's been 8 months now. In the 8 months that I've been at my current job, I've tried to apply for 3 different positions. Just within the past month, 3 different full-time positions because I've been part-time for a while, and part-time it really isn't doing it. As much as I love the extra time and the freedom that you get from not working a full-time job, the paychecks they rough, especially when you're working, especially when you're getting paid bi-weekly. So I've applied for 3 different positions and I got passed up. Not even just passed up, but not even considered for the 3 positions. And it has, once again, nothing to do with my actual work performance. It's just because I'm on my final. And my final, mind you, is for attendance. I did some dumb stuff. I made some call-ins that I didn't really have to do, and then other than that, I'm kind of at the mercy of the public transit. So sometimes I end up running a little bit later than I want to, and if I don't have the PTO or the sick time to cover it, then that's just an occurrence on my belt. But over the past month, I've been squeaky clean, picture perfect, and I'm just kind of trying to move forward from there. But recently, a full-time position opened up specifically in my department. Now, the thing about my department is that, 1, obviously I'm already in it, and 2, most people generally don't like my department. They say that it's a little too physically taxing. Me personally, I think it's a pretty chill department, but that's just me. So I applied and I went to talk to my supervisor and my ASM, and my ASM they were already talking about me in terms of putting me in that position. She told me this straight up. She said that they really wanted to, but because I'm on my final, I'm technically not eligible. But they're trying to pull some strings to get me into that full-time position. Because overall, I don't hate my job. I don't know if I want to venture out and say that I like my job, but I definitely don't hate it. It's something that I can tolerate and do for 40 hours a week, 5 days a week. Or 40 hours a week, 5 days a week. I think I said that right the first time. So the opposite end of that is I found another job that I've already accepted that I don't start until the 19th. So basically this week that's coming up, today is the 9th. This week that's coming up, I'm supposed to be talking with my manager or with my supervisor my supervisor and my ASM about this position and if they're going to move forward with me and, general expectations and things. And it sounds like they are truly considering me and that they want me to be in this position. There's somebody else in my department that applied for the spot. I'm pretty sure he's on his finals just like I am, so we're kind of in the same boat. So it's not like they're really having much of a tussle on which one to choose over the other because we're kind of in the same position. And the other job that I got accepted for was a stay-at-home, a work-from-home job. And as you know, it's getting colder. In fact, as I'm recording this, I'm looking out of the window, and it's snowing right now. It's already starting to fall. It's that time of the year. You can't avoid it. And it's got me a little bit torn because on one hand, the stay-at-home job seems like a no-brainer. But I had a bit of a revelation when I was doing the orientation, if we're going to call it that, or the interview, whichever one you want to call it, where they were saying things like, while you're working, make sure that you're in a completely discreet and quiet location, free from distractions, and basically just saying stuff like put your life aside. In fact, they said word for word, put your personal life aside while you're at work and throughout working hours and stuff. And it's not that that's unreasonable. It's just, it sounds crazy out loud when you say that, and then you remember that the work is in your own house. And that's where I kind of like ran into a window there, just like face splatted, because why would I put my life aside in my own house at that for work? I already don't put my life aside for the job that I'm currently working. And, there's some trade-offs here. So the job that I'm currently at, it pays more, not by a lot, just $2.50. But collectively, I think that's like an extra $5,000 a year or something like that over the job that I would take. The problem is that with me being on my final and it getting colder and colder, I went out for a walk earlier today, and I'm not going to lie, that's when I really realized that maybe I'm not quite built for it. It's not that I haven't worked during the cold season in my current situation, which is not having a car. In fact, the past 2 winters I haven't had a car, and I've had to walk everywhere, and it's not that I can't do it. It's just I'm getting to the point where I'm not really wanting to. So a work from home job almost seems like a home run. But for some reason, it really put it in perspective for me when they said that you would have to put your life, your personal life aside. Maybe it was just a word, and maybe I'm just harping a little bit too much on that. But when they said that, I couldn't help but wince at the thought of putting my personal life, anything. It's not like there's a whole lot that goes on in my home. My home is pretty quiet. I live here by myself. But putting my life and my own personal anything on the side while I'm in my own home for work, it just I can't see myself doing it. And if it wasn't for that, this job would be a home run, because not only is it work from home and it's full time, it pays weekly. So now I'm not having to spend money on transportation. I'm not having to worry about when we start getting snowstorms and negative degree weather and all these things that I would have to worry about with my other job that I have to go to every single day. But the problem with the other job is that, one, like I said, I have to go there every single day, and two, I'm already on my final. So if anything happens, let's say I get sick, which notoriously I get sick in the wintertime at least once. I get, for the past 4 or 5 years, I've gotten sick at least once every single wintertime. And then sometimes I look at the weather and I let the weather psych me out a little bit, where I'm looking up and it says, oh, we're going to have a blizzard tomorrow. And it's like, well, what do you mean I got to go to work? I'm not going anywhere. And I can't have one of those moments because I'm on my final for the next 5.5 months. So any missed day that I can't get covered, that I don't have PTO for, that's my job. And then I'm SOL for the wintertime, and nobody wants to be like that. So I'm at a bit of a crossroads where I don't really know where I should go with this, because both have their pros and cons. So obviously I'll be making more at the current job that I'm at, albeit I'm getting paid bi-weekly, but I'm still making more overall. Not a whole lot more, like I said, but the little bit adds up over time versus me getting paid less but getting paid weekly, because the job I'm currently at is bi-weekly. And I'm just in a bit of a mix about it. I'm not really sure which route I want to go with it. I have a week until I start my new job, which means I have a week to rescind the offer if I decide to stick with the current job. But that's only if I even get offered the full-time position, which, given the talk I just had yesterday, it sounds like a pretty strong bet that I might actually get considered for this. So I'm at a bit of a mix about it. But the one thing is that I still have to put myself first when it comes to these things. And putting myself first isn't always just my own convenience of, not having to leave the house or worry about transportation, because man, it's so much different in the wintertime. Now that the snow is falling, like I said, I went for a walk earlier and it wasn't too bad. It's not super cold outside, but I walked around for about an hour And it was fine heading to the destination I ended up going to, but on the way back, it started to feel a little bit brutal, and I layered up pretty well. I had my little mask on. I had a hat, 2 layers of clothes, 2 layers of socks, some nice waterproof boots, some gloves. I had it all. A coat, a shirt underneath the shirt, and a shirt underneath that shirt. I was 3 layered up outside. And the walk back was still feeling a little bit brutal. And it was just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then the other problem with the work from home job is it promotes more of a sedentary lifestyle. So now I'll have to find ways to keep myself, getting out of the house, because I'm not somebody that thrives from being in the house 24/7. It's nice for a couple of days, but once that feeling hits, I can't exactly explain it. I think the best way to explain it is like dissociation. It's a type of dissociation. That's when things start getting a little bit spooky. My thoughts get a little bit spooky, and I don't like that. So I'm just at a little bit of a mix up or a crossroads, like I done said a couple of times, and I'm not really sure which way I'm going to go with this. But whatever happens, I'm going to choose myself first, and that's the takeaway of this. So thanks for listening. If you did get this far, I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.